Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Lammas Symposium of Goddess Temple Teachings. And I'm here this afternoon with Sally Pullinger, and she is going to talk to us about her offerings through Goddess Temple Teachings. So, first of all, Sally, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
All right. Well, I'm a priestess of Avalon, and I'm one of the. I think I trained quite early because I just trained with Kathy in all my training, and Kathy, of course, is a great friend of mine, and it was an absolutely revelatory training where I had my mind opened, having really been a very God girl, and 25 years ago I became a goddess girl, and I had to really kind of recover from quite a lot of, I had quite a lot of wounding, quite a lot that I needed to heal from. And it was such an amazing, revelatory, as I say, an exploratory time of initiation. So that was 25 years ago in the year 2000 to about 2003. And then I had that great honor of being very much walking alongside Kathy when we were dreaming in the temple and noticing, because we lived in Avalon for a long time. I mean, we'd been here since the 80s, so we'd been here 20 years. Now been here
Magical.
40 years. And been through many sort of rounds of what the magic of the land of Avalon really is, and in our own different ways. And I've always been a medium in my life. I became a medium when my husband very tragically committed suicide in my early 20s. And so, I had been that medium and been working in Glastonbury and around before Glastonbury, before the 80s, because I became a medium in the late 70s. So, yeah, really, I did my spiritual work kind of thing, but then I entered the Goddess Temple, and it's quite funny because I used to speak to my guide inside and say, "I hope you don't mind, Zhongfu, but I think I'm falling in love with the goddess."
Wonderful.
But she's very feminine, and I hope you don't mind because I bring him in. He's got this quite masculine persona, so he was like, "Beloved, do you not know that when I was in Tibet," and he was in Tibet many lifetimes, we worshipped Tara, the 33 Taras.
Mm.
They were our that's who we worship. They held the world for us. And so I was like, oh, that's great. That's good. All right, we're on the same page then. So
Wonderful.
but that was a big moment when I realized that I had this huge thing happening in my heart, and that I was changing a lot. So yeah, that was the beginning of my journey with Goddess. And what happened for me in those early years was, of course, I realized she was within me as song and music, not only, but very much so. And whenever we came to a new season or a new experience, I would find these songs coming through. They would come through in the middle of the night usually. I would have to sit and
Wonderful.
I didn't have my smartphone in those days, and I had to write things down. It's kind of crazy. And I'd come to the morning and think, what on earth is that? And then I'd sort of decipher it in the morning. That would be
How
one of the songs.
magical.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how much, as I said, try and stop me. There's a lot to say, but that was when my goddess journey started.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for sharing that, Sally, and introducing yourself. So you actually have several offerings with Goddess Temple Teachings, courses-wise. So would you like to tell us about priestessing and priesting the underworld?
Yes. Well, the thing is, it all really comes from the fact that I've had quite a lot of trauma, really. It was very traumatic. A traumatic childhood. My dad and mom, split up, and all the dramas, and what a lot of people go through. When I came, and I was educated in convents, so I was very, very religious. I
Wow.
mean, really religious. I mean, I was educated by nuns, and by the time I was 16, I'd done all my O levels, all my A levels, all these. I was very precocious, which was actually it was distress, really, and trauma. I was trying to impress my dad, who was miles away, and so the only way I could really do that was by becoming top of everything and getting all these scintillating marks in exams. So when I left school, I really tumbled. I met my beautiful husband, but then I had the trauma of his death, and really, I sort of bundled through, I mean, spirit came in and I was so helped by the presence of Chong Fu. Really, he was my teacher. He taught me about how to deal really with the negative, with the distress, with the shadow. So I became sort of, by having to, really, in order to survive, someone who understood pain, understood that everyone's basically got it, and that it manifests in a myriad of ways. And I watched my guide because, he said, I want to teach. And I was like, well, I hope you're going to teach, not me, because I don't know what on earth to teach, And so he would come through and I would listen to this incredible wisdom and the way he would work with people, where he would but whenever anyone had a problem, he would take them in. He would never try and sort it out by patching it or behavioral things, or we'll do this and it'll be better. Or he would always just go right in, and he would get right to the very core. And it would be agony, really, for a moment, or, for a session for that person. But afterwards, they would be liberated. And so I learned very kind of, late, really. I mean, I was already in my 50s by then, by the time I decided to actually do the work with people, run training groups, and do what we call the Chung Fu work. Which is we call it the upside down work, because you have to kind of look at the world from inside and from that very dark place within to try and work out, where it all makes sense. So I learned all that from Chung Fu. And when I was observing in the early days of training priestesses, was that, and Kathy and I would look at each other and say, well, there were all those priestesses we trained and they seem to have left. They've all gone. I mean, they were in Avalon, but they just sort of left. And we decided, and actually my guide talks about Avalon. He calls it the Isle of Dark Mirrors. And so it's almost as if people come here and they meet their shadow. And it's obviously only they also meet the light, but they meet their shadow. And I think pretty much every priestess would say that. They come here and they're all, ooh, I'm going to be a priestess. And it's like, aha, I think I'm going to be a priestess. I've got to go down. I've got to find this stuff. And so, I mean, quite a while ago, I sort of suggested to Kathy, maybe, I could bring the Chong Fu work in. But the thing was, Chong Fu isn't a priestess. Chong Fu is a spirit guide. He's a Tibetan monk. It's not really in the ethos in a certain way. And it was very awkward. I didn't know how to bring him in. So what actually happened, and it was nothing to do with me. I did not will it to happen. But 11 years ago now, actually, I was in my humble little temple doing sessions and things. And it was actually a family member. And I was going into trance, which means going into a very relaxed state, breathing, opening up the chakras, just, what we do. And nothing was happening. Chung Fu wasn't coming in. I was like, where are you? What's going on? And he was like, relax. I am relaxed. I'm so relaxed, I'm going to fall off the chair in a minute. And he was like, well, relax some more. Just relax some more. And I kept relaxing. And then suddenly, it was like a bolt of lightning entered my body, and I sat bolt upright, and my arms went out like this, and my neck, I felt as if my neck had hit the ceiling, and I had this beat, and this energy was looking through my eyes. And it's basically goddess Isis. And she spoke in star language. She screeched and made this incredibly high sound like a bird. And this went on. I mean, we had to be very careful what clients we had first. She always came in at the beginning of the day as if to say, well, hello, everybody, this is my temple. And, oh, welcome, everybody. Okay.
Amazing.
And I sort of asked her, well, will you be speaking in English? And I get this kind of wait and see in an answer. I'm here for a purpose, you'll see. But this actually went on for 2 years. So we had to kind of be careful who we invited to those first sessions of the day, because it could have put people off an awful lot, because I have this very wise guide and then this squawking goddess presence. Anyway, so as I say, went on for a while, and then she started speaking English, and then I began to understand why she'd come. And her message is basically, we are, I'm here, I'm kind of back, and I'm in, and she is actually coming back through many people. In fact, many mediums, seers have this experience of her presence. So, she's basically saying, you're all, I'm back, you've called me and I'm calling you, and we're going to create a new reality on the earth together. And that is really her message. It's an incredibly inspiring, uplifting message. She's just this pure love energy.
Mm,
And basically time rolled on. And then a few years ago, of course, as we all know, that lovely thing called COVID struck. The
mm,
temple, the temple got completely immobilized because we did so much physical work, physical groups. We very believe in, physical presence groups. We love all that. And we couldn't do anything. We couldn't even meet. And so Kathy and the team started to brainstorm how the temple was going to survive these. We didn't actually know how long it was going to go on in those days when we started. And yeah, it was that was what inspired me to come forward. I'd always wanted to do this work with priestesses. And I said to Kathy, well, we'd had quite a lot of stuff going on between priestesses in the temple, so it was kind of an appropriate time. We knew there was a
mm,
lot bubbling up in people. So I said, well, how about, and I was at Kathy's and Mike was there too. And I just, this thing came out of my mouth. I said, how about a course called Priestessing the Underworld? And
mm.
they both went, that's it. We'll do that.
Yes.
And that's how it was born, really. And yeah, I've done two. This is the second intake. It's the most wonderful experience because, of course, what's really happening is we're opening hearts to such a deep level and sharing at such a deep level. I mean, we do share a lot in all the trainings, but this is super deep, really going to the core of the matter, really exploring really the places of pain, of trauma, of loss, of grief, of rage, sometimes past life stuff, because as priestesses
Mm,
we've been through so much. We've been through the burnings, we've been through the temple desecration, we've been through so much. And we're not all women in the temple at all. In fact, we love it when men come to train with us, but there is a predominance of women. And so yes, there's a lot to reclaim as women and to bring our love power, our soft power, our goddess energy into the world. And so, yes, goddess Isis. And of course, I trained, and I'm dedicated, in fact, to the Lady of Avalon. So sometimes she comes in, and these groups that I run, I very much run them with goddess. So we help people to come in, but especially in the other course I'll talk about in a minute. But yes, the Priestess in the Underworld course is just such an incredible opportunity to basically meet, hold, love, and heal deep wounds, which as women or men, it's difficult to find somewhere to unpack that, to really, and to get
absolutely.
so much love, because that's, I mean, these groups that we run, I run it with my daughter Sophie, who's also a priestess of Avalon. And it's amazing. I mean, wow, we're just our socks are literally knocked off by the depth and the amazing presence and what these women. It is all women so far. The women are leading the way. Come on, men, come on. Let's do some priesting in the underworld. I was wondering if I should do a special one for men, but so far, yes, two beautiful groups of women. It's a 2-year training in the end, but I just do the first year at the moment, because the second year is where you learn to hold others to priestess or priest their underworld. So far we have we've done the first year, and I can feel that we're probably going to have to wait another year or so before we have those people ready to become themselves, because they are the priestesses of their own underworld, able to guide others into not being afraid of their own fear, not being afraid of their own power, of it expressing negatively sometimes, getting through that and realizing we are just love. We are love. And once we get through all the illusions of, he did that or she did that to me, and and you're this and you're that, and all the projections, and we come out of that place and we just own and become present and fully empowered to be who we truly are, it's just the most wonderful journey. So yeah, that's the Priestessing the Underworld.
Thank you, Sally. It sounds like a really deep, special journey that people can gift themselves
Mm.
to become who they truly are. So thank you for that. So would you like to tell us about your other course as well?
Well, the other
the way of
course
the
really was
oracle.
yeah, I mean, that's the one that started first because it was online and because
Yes.
we really needed something that could be offered online. In fact, I had some of the priestess in the underworld group who said, would you do year 2 online? Because they came from America, Ireland, and Europe. And, you know, it was quite an expense, obviously, coming over. So I am considering that.
Mm.
But when I've done the first year in person, because there's nothing quite so powerful as sitting in the room with people and feeling the heart and feeling, you know, so invited to share. So, but the other course that I do is called the Way of the Oracle, and uh, yeah. So the Way of the Oracle. It's interesting because in modern times, it's if you look, you can see that. You know, channeling and bringing through higher beings, star beings, guides, ascended beings. Uh, I want to say it's all the rage, but you know, it's certainly growing. It's almost as if, you know, as women and men on the earth now, we do need that uplift. We need Goddess presence, and we need to feel her in us. So the Way of the Oracle is really, it's a very inspiring journey where I share, you know, how I became. Well, it's a medium. I'm a medium, but I'm also an oracle in that sense that Goddess comes right in. And you don't have to have Goddess coming right in to be an oracle, because she can speak in your ear or she can speak through your heart in ways that aren't so obvious. And I have different kinds of oracles that develop with me. And all of it is authentic because, you know, however she comes through, we need her. We need her to speak. So an oracle is where, you know, the oracle, the oros, this is the mouth, the voice of Goddess. So it's very much developing your confidence that when you feel Goddess coming in, you allow her to speak. And it's amazing the blockages and resistances and the thought forms that people have. How do I know that's not just me? How do I know it's her? And, you know, and learning to
Mm.
identify, you know, the different parts. And first of all, you know, we have to learn who we are, because once we understand who we are, then we can, you know, we can differentiate, and it becomes clearer and clearer, and people know, you know, within the first 6 months, really, certainly within 9 months. So it's a 2-year course, and the whole first year is getting used to the idea that you're that you aren't in fact far away. You're that close. You're one, that Goddess can come straight in. And of course, you know, the training, the embodiment training is also in the Priestess of Avalon training, but this is where we take it and we pull it apart and we really examine what those processes are in the
Mm.
body, the heart, and in the mind, that enable you to expand and to feel that presence and then to allow her in. Everybody who's on the course, you know, and the last one as well. So the second intake now, this is nearly the end of the first year. Well, 3/4 of the way through the first year of the second intake. And I actually I've completely kept in touch. We have an oracle, a temple of oracles that we set up with the first group, that the second group will join. And we have meetings, we connect, and they still oracle for each other. You know, it's a very
Wonderful. Mm.
wonderful gift that they continue to practice. So yeah, and it's really understanding your body, understanding your states, understanding how to be in an altered state while still being conscious and in touch with, you know, reality enough to sort of fall off your chair, or, you know,
Mm.
uh, in
Yes.
some way, I don't know, just do something, you know, you don't want to do. So you do have to have a consciousness, what we call between the worlds. And so there's a lot of ways that we work with that. Um, and people become more and more amazed, in fact, at how smooth and easy that can become. Very, very exciting work.
It sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. And you have a short Way of the Oracle course as well, don't you? An
Yes.
introductory course, which
Yes.
is 4 sessions. Yes.
Yeah. I just
So,
do, basically, because I have an unusual way of working, and because I'm quite particular about sort of what I ask people, you know, to do. They have to practice every day if they're going to come on the long training. If they're going to really dedicate themselves, then it's a way of life. You know, you can't really la and just stay the same. You do have to work on yourself. You have to do practices, because you are changing your actual cellular memory. You're changing your being to remember. Most people who come on do have a memory of being an oracle before. And I'm sure it was very different before. I mean, we're in our modern time where, the mental body has become very, very highly evolved and quite intricate. And one of the first things has to happen is that mental body has to kind of descend into the heart and
Yes.
stop being sort of, so how can we say interfering, because people will be in a state and then they'll suddenly say, yeah, but, and then this thought will come in, yeah, but how do I know this is goddess? I mean, and the mind interferes with this beautiful flow that will otherwise happen. So yes, there's a lot of understanding. And so the short oracle course is really to explain that and to say, if you want to come on the long one, you're very welcome, but you need to be prepared to do this work. And I kind of do a little a sketch over the 4. I go through some of the basic things that they would be learning if they. Most people do enter the long training after that introductory course. So, but it just lets you know that it's not it's a walk in the park in a certain way, but it's not. It's not a lull in the park. It's a purposeful walk in the park with definite goals and practices that they need to know about. They're going to be entering if they come on the long training. Yeah, so wonderful. We do that.
And the wonderful thing about both of the trainings, the long way of the oracle and the shorter one, is that they are fully online.
They are.
So people can join wherever they are in the world, which is wonderful. And the short way of the oracle course starts on the 25th of October, which is a Saturday. Yes, this year. Yes. So yeah.
And they are just, there's just 3 hours every 2 weeks for 4 sessions. So it kind of lasts 8 weeks. And then the way of the oracle next first year starts, well, actually, I think it doesn't start until 26, does it, this one? The next one?
26, yes.
We might change that. We're not sure because it's a bit of a long gap between the short course and the long course. So Lisa and I might talk about that. I just realized why you were suggesting that. So we might talk about that, and we may start one in 25. It kind of depends how many people are interested, because obviously it's a very intense commitment for me. I don't just do that in the long way of the oracle. I don't just do 3 hours on a Friday. I actually I monitor the people throughout the time. I'm always having conversations with them. I'm available to you. It's a very deep training, because in order to be able to let this being, this powerful, pure light essence that is goddess in, you have to clear, you have to clean up, you have to move energetic blocks, you have to be a clear channel. And so there's a lot going on, and they reach out and we talk about stuff, and I do private little Zooms with them and stuff. So it's I really do commit myself to my students, because it's very exciting work for me. I get so excited when they get it and they start to bring through goddess, and I just think, whoa, goddess is so happy about that, which I know she just wants to come in more and more and more. And so yeah, I love doing it.
And your enthusiasm for the courses, for both courses, it really comes across, Sally. So thank you for that. So if someone was considering doing one of your courses and they weren't sure, what would you advise them to do?
Well, they can always reach out to me through the Goddess Temple teachings. I've actually had quite a number of people also reach out for sessions with my guide Chung Fu, which I do one-to-ones with Chung Fu in my own space, both physically and online. Chung Fu's very good at doing a lot of deep work online now. He's highly trained online and now for the last sort of 10 years, really. And so I really recommend that you can reach out to me through Goddess Temple teachings. You can find me there. I've had quite a number of people reach out and say, what do you think, this, that, the other, and also a book session with Chung Fu and come and talk to him online, just to get some guidance as to whether which training, and sometimes he will just invite them back for one-to-ones for a bit while they get more familiar with their inner world. But
Mm.
yeah, yep, you can find me through Goddess Temple Teachings. You could also find me at Sally Pullinger at googlemail.com, or but I think also my email is on the Goddess Temple Teachings, isn't it, Lisa?
Yes, so you can just click on the contact the tutor within Goddess Temple Teachings for any of our courses, and that will automatically send your message to the relevant tutor for the right course. So that's nice and easy to do, and then the tutor can get back to you individually if you'd like to do that. So thank you so much, Sally, for sharing your wisdom with us and your enthusiasm for your courses. This is the last session that we have for our Lammas Symposium of Goddess Temple Teachings, and we have had a beautiful week with all of the tutors. So we've talked with Cassie Jones, with Kit Crowther, with Karen Persons, with Susie Quatermass, with Charlie Merton, Patricia Sutherland, Sally Pullinger, and the last person I want to mention is the wonderful Georgia Ferrano, who has been behind the scenes coordinating all the tutors and managing all the technology to enable this event to happen. So from my heart to your heart, Georgia, thank you so much for everything that you have done. It is so appreciated. And
So
I don't know, yes, and I don't know about you, but I have had the best week talking to the tutors and finding out more about them and their trainings, and I've learned something from every single one that I didn't already know. So it has been amazing, and thank you to all the tutors for taking part and being present, and yeah, sharing your offerings. Much appreciation.
the only other thing I would like to say is that I just like to say here, because it's like, it's good to say it, that you know I would love to run a goddess choir, and I just want I want you to know that I want goddess to know that, I want people to know that, and to and I don't know how that's going to be because I'm so busy, but I want to do that, and that music for goddess and songs for goddess is an absolutely huge part of my life, and I have written a lot of songs, and you can find them on I think it's Spotify, CD Baby, all these places. So if you're interested in having songs to sing at ceremonies and stuff like that, do get in touch with me, because I'm really happy to share my songs. I'll send them to you so that you can, sometimes I sing them in a probably not very professional way, but just so that you can get them, so that you can sing them in your ceremonies. I just wanted to say that that is a huge part of my offerings to the temple, the Goddess Temple, the Glastonbury Goddess Temple. Yeah.
And we love your songs, Sally. You know how much we love singing them and yeah, sharing them with people. So thank you for that. And I would love to join a goddess choir. That sounds
It'd be
wonderful.
great, wouldn't it? It'd be fabulous.
It
So
would be fabulous.
I have got a choir
Fabulous.
in Glastonbury, but they don't like to sing either too much about God or goddess or anything. So it's a bit frustrating, because they do sing a couple of my goddess songs. They sing my Danu song, and a couple of others. But it would be lovely to have a goddess choir. I've got so many songs, but then other songwriters would come forward, Eloise, and other beautiful songstresses, and maybe songsters. I don't know about others, but it'd be lovely to be able to sing people's songs for goddess, and I just that would be just such a great thing. So that's why I said it, so it could be in people's minds, and you can
Yes.
send that to me as a beautiful thought that one day there'll be a goddess choir in
Yeah.
Glastonbury.
Sending that to you. Yes, sending that out there as a beautiful thought. Let's make it happen, Sally.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, a big thank you to everybody that's been involved. And you can watch the replays in Goddess Conversations Facebook group for 2 weeks afterwards. And we hope that you've all enjoyed the talks with all of the tutors. Blessings to you all from Avalon. Blessed be.
Blessed be, blessed be.